In 1848, gold was found in the Sacramento Valley of California. This sparked an incredible movement. Thousands of prospective miners fled to the west, hoping to land a wealthy fortune. By the end of 1849, California had grown to a population of 100,000. Some of these prospective miners were also prospective explorers, and with a burning desire to explore the West, some of these men struck more than gold, a gem in the Sierra Nevada. There are several notable explorers that set sights on protecting the area we know today as Yosemite National Park. Three of these explorers, Galen Clark, the first guardian of Yosemite and discoverer of the Mariposa Grove of giant sequoias; John Muir, founder of the Sierra Club and famous conservationist; and Ansel Adams, defender of the park and photographic interpreter for Yosemite's splendor. Entering Yosemite throughout the and 1900s, these three men had no idea what they were in for. An untouched wilderness awaited them. With time, more and more people became aware of this hidden treasure in the Sierra Nevada. Galen Clark, John Muir, and Ansel Adams all became pivotal members in protecting the beautiful landscapes that make up Yosemite. Born in Canada in 1814, Galen Clark joined the westward migration in his youth. Clark decided to seek a life of riches like the rest of the country during the California Gold Rush. When Galen Clark fell ill with tuberculosis in 1853, doctors gave him 6 months to live. Undeterred by this awful news, Clark moved to Wawona, California.
I went to the mountains to take my chances of dying or growing better, which I thought were about even.
Upon moving to Wawona, Galen Clark stumbled across one of the finest riches in the West, a grove of the most amazing trees, the Mariposa Grove of giant sequoias. Clark quickly began to explore the sequoias, and was more than thrilled to teach others about them whenever a stranger came sauntering past. Acknowledging the importance of protecting these magnificent trees, Galen Clark began writing to his friends and the U.S. Congress in an attempt to save this natural wonder. U.S. Senator John Conness of California decided to gamble on Clark's description of these giants, and supported his endeavors in protecting the area. After contributing to the writing and passage of legislation to protect the area, Clark's efforts were rewarded on June 30th, 1864. Abraham Lincoln signed the Yosemite Grant Act to protect Yosemite Valley and the Mariposa Grove. Galen Clark then became the first guardian of this grant and served in this prestigious role for 21 years. That's right, the sacred air of Yosemite healed his lungs, and he was able to live a healthy life until his death in 1910. Upon his first arrival in Yosemite, John Muir met Galen Clark. Later on, he called Clark the best mountaineer I have ever met, and one of the kindest and most amiable of all my mountain friends. John Muir was born in 1838 in Dunbar, Scotland. Soon after, the Muir family emigrated to the United States in 1849 and settled in Portage, Wisconsin. Muir and his younger brother would roam the fields and woods of the Wisconsin countryside. John became more and more the loving observer of the natural world. He sailed to Cuba, Panama, and later docked in San Francisco in 1868. Wanting to get out of the city, Muir asked a carpenter where he should go. The carpenter asked, "Where do you want to go?" To which Muir replied, "Anywhere that is wild." Muir started walking east until he found himself tucked in the Sierra Nevada. On arrival to the Yosemite Valley, Muir immediately fell in love with the mountain chains.
Wherever we go in the mountains, or indeed in any of God's wild fields, we find more than we seek.
In 1871, Muir theorized glaciation of Yosemite Valley and started measuring the movement of the glaciers. Soon after, he wrote a series of articles entitled Studies in the Sierra, launching his successful career as a writer. Muir quickly realized the importance of protecting the vast beauty of Yosemite, and in 1890, an act of Congress created Yosemite National Park, partly on Muir's behalf. In 1892, Muir and a number of his supporters founded the Sierra Club to, in Muir's words, do something for the wilderness and make the mountains glad. Muir and the Sierra Club fought many battles to protect Yosemite Park, but the most dramatic was to prevent the damming of the Hetch Hetchy Valley within Yosemite National Park. They lost this battle after many years, and Yosemite Valley became a reservoir for supplying water in San Francisco. Muir passed away from illness in 1914, but his efforts in protecting Yosemite will never be forgotten. Ansel Adams visited Yosemite only 2 years after John Muir's death. With the loss of Muir, Yosemite needed a new protector and advocate, and that role was filled by Adams. In the 1930s, a movement was made to preserve the integrity of the earth. Ansel Adams was captivated by the beauty of the park, and 2 years after his first visit, he took a custodial position with the Sierra Club. His interest in photography developed over the next 10 years while working in the park. Adams would bring his camera with him on his mule expeditions, and his passion for the park steadily grew with each passing year. In 1928, Ansel was appointed as the club's official photographer. His work first appeared on bulletin boards, and it wasn't long before he started becoming politically involved in the park and petitioning for improved parks and wilderness. He used his work to portray the beauty of Yosemite and the consequences of letting the park be developed. In 1934, Adams was appointed as a member of the board of directors. With his new position, Ansel Adams was determined to make a lasting impression on Americans that would stand as a reminder of the importance of preserving the natural beauty our country holds.
Yosemite Valley to me is always a sunrise, a glitter of green and golden wonder in a vast edifice of stone and space.
The Sierra Club, with the assistance of Ansel Adams, became a powerful national organization that soon had a say in the country's decision-making process regarding the parks. Ansel Adams worked his way up from the Sierra Club from janitor to honorary member. The Sierra Club became highly involved in working to protect the environment and establish national parks, with Ansel Adams as a huge contributor. His book Sierra Nevada, The John Muir Trail, influenced both President Roosevelt as well as the Interior Secretary to establish the Kings Canyon Park. The gold rush could have ended differently. Facilities could have plagued the valley, draining the land for its resources and leaving a wake of civilization in its path. Galen Clark, John Muir, and Ansel Adams were dedicated to prevent that from happening. They advocated for the park's protection, and they fought to have the valley preserved. Great harm may have come to this land had it not been for the guardians of Yosemite.